The goal that I have is very, very simple. The goal that I have is every time we speak to give you another fact, another perspective, another thing to hang on where you'll say, wow, I forgot that. Or I never thought about it like that, because it's a very, very simple thing. You have been given pieces of information in a kind of it's almost like looking at I used to use this, by the way, as an example during opening statement. Remember when we did puzzles? Remember puzzles? We had puzzles in the old days. We actually had a puzzle, and you sat at a table. We had a card table, and you would sit with your brothers or sisters, or your mom or your grandma, and you would just talk. It was one of the greatest things ever. It seems so silly, but you would sit there and you would be talking about stuff. You had to talk because there's nothing about putting together a puzzle and it's a collaborative effort. There's no teams. See, a puzzle, unlike Scrabble or something, you're playing against somebody else. This was different. This was a team effort. We're all in this together, brother. We're all putting together the puzzle. That's what we're doing. So as we're talking about this, and what you would do first is you would look at the front, the box, the cover, and see, what the hell does this look like? Oh, it's a field. There's going to be a tree to the left. There's going to be a farmhouse to the right. There's going to be a horse in the middle. There's going to be blue skies and this cloud formation to the right. And it tells you this is where we're going. Without that cover, you don't know where you're going. You're looking at this like, what the hell is this? What is this? I don't know. What is this? If you didn't have a cover, if you tried to put together, if they just peeled the picture, I should say, of the puzzle, you will look at these things and say, where am I going? What do I do with this? And sometimes you have been provided. You have been provided with information, scores, loads, just pounds of information, pounds of tiles and data. And sometimes you're thinking, whoa, wait a minute. Sometimes we'll say Egyptian era. What was the Egyptian era? Fort Huachuca, Mitch Snow. Wait, what? Oh, God, I forgot that name. Where's the? You see what's happening? And sometimes you'll go through this because, well, you've got things to do, and very frankly, sometimes you can't follow all this. So what we do is we provide you with what's going on. This is the greatest story there is. What's going on right now in the Middle East is boring. The port of Strait of Hormuz, Bab el-Mandab, the Red Sea, all this is boring. It's pretty simple. This is always changing, constantly. There's so much to it. And the latest iteration of this is they're dusting off the idea that you cannot say anything about Erika because she is a widow. A good friend, Fish Man, says, ATP. I wouldn't be surprised if a secret recording comes out of, hey guys, Erika, planning the event, something ain't right with her. I do not believe there's going to be anything that is involving her planning the event. I think. I don't believe there'll be, and I'm not saying this to be nice. I'm not telling you why. I am not telling you any of the people there, from Colvett to Blake the Snake, the Flake, to everybody else. No. No. Now, sometimes people can be in the position of maybe covering things up inadvertently, where you don't know you're doing this. You don't recognize. Let me give you an example. Everybody is doing a couple of things. Rehabilitating Erika. Why? Let me ask you that question. Why? I was listening to, reading today. There's a woman, her name is Carrie Prejean. Candace's friend, stalwart, very devout Catholic, former Miss in California. I don't know enough about her curriculum vitae, but I like her stuff. She seems to be anybody who is basically in favor of what I consider to be very critical, traditional, not really conservative, but traditional ideology. I'm for 100%. So anyway, so she is on, and people, I gotta tell you something. This fellow named Fry, Viva Frey, whatever, and Barnes. I know you're not going to believe this. I thought they were so smart. I'm shocked at what they're saying. Have they been, I don't think there's any evidence of this, but if they told me, hey, look, they bought me off, I'd say, oh, okay, at least I understand it. At least you're not crazy. I'm not suggesting they have been. But remember this guy, Ian Miles Chong, remember him? What happened to him? This guy all of a sudden said, you're an Israel stalwart? You? Since when? When did Israel mean so much to you? I didn't know it. Cat turd. Remember cat turd? Cat turd was really kind of interesting. He was one of the ones. Remember the old days before they were even called influencers? They were kind of like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Now it's just, and he's so bad, he's not phoning it in, he's telegraphing it in. He doesn't even know what he's saying. He's just, listen. I told you about this before. Please forgive me if I repeat myself, because I do it, because you might not have heard this. When I was in school, Catholic school, Sacred Heart Academy, they gave us the black box, and I was the only one who liked it. We said, what is it? We didn't know what it was. There were 2, 3 items in there. I'm shaking it. I'm looking at them heavy, you know. Everybody else in my table, my group wanted to open up the box. Can we open up the box? Like, no, you're missing the exercise. And I took the black box and I took the thing. Imagine this is a black box. And I'm going like this. I said, wait a minute. Hey, there's something round in here. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a marble, something spherical, not circular, spherical, 3-dimensional. Why? Because it's rolling. And there's something also that's sliding. Can be anything from a paper clip to something that is not spherical. And I wouldn't be surprised. So what I'm doing is I'm standing and I'm listening to this and I'm trying to guess. I don't know what it is, but I'm guessing. I'm almost like, it's like an X-ray or it's like a CAT scan sort of. And somebody once described an EEG. It's like standing outside of a theater or a stadium. By the way, how about that? How about the World Cup? Okay, it says something about it. Anyway, it's like standing outside of a stadium and trying to guess the score by virtue of the crowds who are yelling. And if somebody told me, you know, the people you've mentioned, they're all being paid. They're being paid $200 a tweet. Again, I'm not saying this is true, but I would say, oh, I understand it. I understand it. Stephen Salty says everything about Charlie's demise is off. Yet we are the bad guys for asking questions. The lint brush is more convincing than a 30-06. Indeed, I thank you. You're right about that. You're right about that. And I'm wondering, why is, again, this cat, don't ask me why, cat turd. This was one of the people, if I recall correctly, who was at the White House during the Epstein Binder case. Remember Libs of TikTok? She also was there. Didn't Timmy Pool, wasn't he a part of that as well? And today I'm reading, people are mocking. In fact, I think it was Viva, or I'll check whatever. Somebody called her a hag. A hag. And they're making references to her face. No. You may say, well, so what? To me, it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Am I seeing this correctly? This can't be it. Are you really doing this? Did you really do that? Are you really showing that? There's something about people who can only come up with what you look like or mocking somebody's looks. It's very, very scary. Very, 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 very problematic. And like I said, there's part of me that's shocked, really shocked. I'm thinking, it's like, I'm disappointed in you. I never thought I'd see this. I never thought I was. It's one thing to call somebody. Look, sometimes, we've seen pictures of Laura Loomer. And Laura Loomer, people have noticed, has sometimes been, uh, 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 well, kind of interesting by virtue of whatever it is. The the bulk of what you should be saying about Laura Loomer is what she is saying, not her looks. In this one particular case, Viva Frey says, "You are a sick and demented hag, Carrie Prejean, one or Prejean." I looked it up first to make sure the definition was accurate. A woman who was considered ugly, vicious, or malicious, torturing the grieving widow of her friend, profiting off her. I can't believe I'm even. I can't. You have no. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. You have no idea. You're going after what a woman looks like? To call somebody you're a hag? I guess vicious, malicious, you might say, well, I'm not referring to her looks. I'm referring to her malicious character. But this is kind of where you are. Love your work. Handsome. Thank you very much. I put that myself, by the way. I put that myself. That was from me. Thank you very much for that. This is we've really lost our minds with this. Barnes too. I thought he was so smart, and I mean I'm sure he is. But it's like, tell me you're sold out. Tell me that somebody just gave you this money and said, look here, because then I'd say, oh, thank God, I thought maybe he lost his mind. If I have a beef with a woman, not because she's a woman, but let's say a woman who's making a point, who happens to be a woman, I'm going to tell you what it is. We'll save the looks later. Just later. Again, I'm the only one who's upset about this. The only one, because I'm thinking to myself, damn. And I'm also seeing people coming out of the woodwork, and I love people who are self-styled Christians. Now, there's one thing I've learned about religion, and there's one thing you can, about maybe even history. You can be a historian, you can be a biblical historian, but when you traverse Christian commentator to almost evangelical, you got a problem. And you know who the name Eric Metaxas is? Metaxas. You know who he is? Eric Metaxas. Metaxia sounds bad. It sounds like metastatic. I'm sorry, you have metaxia. That's when you can't remember how to subtract. I'm sorry, it's like ataxia. All of a sudden, by the way, Mary, welcome, Mary. Mary, first time watching your show. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Mary. Welcome. Have some crumb cake. Have a front seat there. Everybody welcome Mary. Okay. This guy all of a sudden finds that he's Mr. He speaks on behalf because he pontificates about he understands Christianity. Okay, fine. Look, it's a gig. Who am I to say? What do I know? But all of a sudden, Mr. Yale graduate, I'm smarter than the rest. I'm going to pick up for Erika Kirk? You seriously? Seriously? This is a concern of yours? It's a free country. It's a free country. Now you might say to yourself, where is he going with this? Where I'm going is, can't you see what's happening? They are so desperate. They are collapsing. That they're sending out the firepower of all these people, including Metejas. Listen to this.
Christians and there are Christians. And this is something I've seen in my life. She is the real deal.
Now, this is a man. I'm not about to tell you something but this is a man. Erika is the real deal. To be fair, Eric, she can barely remember, much less cobble together or improvise anything biblical. She has perfunctory, cursory, almost a double parked version of Christianity. Very rarely talks about it, except in terms of the performative state. Claims that when she will have, Charlie will leave biblical. Okay, fine. I'm only going to tell you the way I feel. It is the most insincere pap I have ever heard in my life. She is a titular Christian. She's somebody who just basically speaks. When somebody really knows their stuff, Charlie did. They're almost to the point where you could say, can you not be so specific? Can you not be so specific? With Erika, it's be more specific. Can you talk about something other than Jesus or God? She doesn't know anything. I probably have studied the Bible in terms of the irony sometimes of it than she has. She's not evil. I do not think she was involved in the dispatch of Charlie. But how this man actually comes forward and says she's the real deal.
There are Christians and there are Christians.
I don't know what that means.
And this is something I've seen in my life.
He's seen this, okay? And he's doing this completely voluntarily. Nobody's paying him, or he's just on his own out of the panoply, the myriad, the mosaic, this pastiche of issues. Erika Kirk as the exemplar, the bellwether, the pole star of Christianity. This matters.
She is the real deal.
She is the real deal. Listen to me. She is. This is the guy who does 92nd Street Y lectures. He has studied. She is. You can't get any more authentic in terms of Christianity than Erika Kirk. Everything. I mean, she is the exemplar. She is the gold standard. She is the state of the art. She is the reference.
And her Christianity and the Christianity of anybody who is a serious Christian is on some level baffling and even repulsive to people who aren't on that same theological page.
No, that's not true. This is the idea. He is trying to say that if you find her problematic, if you disagree with her, if you find her to be insincere, fugazi, not real, synthetic, that you're not really a Christian. See, it's not her, it's you.
You can't, because you're not there, you can't believe that somebody could be that devoted to Jesus, could forgive a murderer.
Now, do you think, listen to me carefully, that she forgives the murderer? Or do you think she forgives Tyler Robinson? Let's watch this. Think about that in the meantime. Listen to what I said. Does she forgive the murderer? Or does she forgive Tyler Robinson?
It just does not compute. You don't understand even what that is to forgive. It doesn't mean you say no big deal. On the contrary, you say, even though it's one of the most horrible things ever, I choose to turn it over to Jesus.
Why is this forgiving? Forgive means, all right, Jesus, take care of it, but I hate that son of a bitch. He is trying so hard. In fact, he's not even talking about her anymore. He's talking about the notion of piety and forgiveness and, in a sense, expiation to an extent.
I choose to turn this person and this deed over to Jesus. I choose to do this. Anyway, I just have to say, I want to be clear that that's one thing I know about Erika.
You don't know anything about Erika. Question. Very simply, this is very important. Stephen Salty says, I'm honest to a fault, wrong a lot of, but honest. Beach says, She quoted this wrong at the memorial. Forgive them, yeah, for they know not what they do. It's for they not know. She's a screw up. Well, yeah. It's the misspoken. Let me give you a couple of things. Number one, to forgive. To forgive. This is a very, very important thing. And I hate to be definitional, but this is critical. And this is something we need to look at. When somebody says they forgive, as a Christian does, forgive them not, Father, forgive them, Father, for they not know what they do, or I forgive you. Erika Kirk forgives Tyler Robinson. What is the notion of forgiving personally versus turning it over to Jesus? This is what we have to ask ourselves. Don't just answer it. Look at it. From a traditional Christian perspective, from what I have seen and from what I have read, there's an important distinction between personal forgiveness and God's forgiveness. Personal forgiveness means relinquishing, giving up, letting go of hatred, vengeance, bitterness, all towards someone who's wronged you. It is an act of the forgiver's own heart. Many Christians understand the passages that you can read up on. I've noted this before. Matthew 6:14-15, Matthew 11:25, Ephesians 4:32, as all calling believers to forgive others personally. I don't have hatred, vengeance, or bitterness towards you. God's forgiveness, however, is different. Christians generally believe, and forgive me, correct me if I'm wrong, that only God can forgive sins against God, and that reconciliation with God comes through repentance, faith in Christ. In the New Testament, Jesus says, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Luke 23:34, which directs the request to the Father rather than declaring God's forgiveness on behalf of others. So if somebody says, I forgive Tyler Robinson, many people, many Christians would understand that as a statement about their own willingness to release personal resentment. It doesn't necessarily mean that they are declaring the person's sins forgiven or whatever it is. It's how she feels. I forgive him. I forgive him. She's saying, I, Erika, forgive him. I don't have feelings of hatred, resentment, vengeance, anything along those lines. Do you believe that? Our good friend Brett says, do you think the new bill Massey is working on for e-files will get the victim's justice? What do you think about the New Mexico investigation? We will get to that. I thank you for that. We will get to that. I appreciate it. I will talk about this later. I don't want to lose this particular momentum. I thank you for that. And I'll make a note of that. And we will act accordingly. Thank you for your contribution. But I want to continue with this. I'm going to be very, very, very crass. It's hard to believe. Number one, it's easy to it's easy to forgive someone who had nothing to do with it. It is easy to forgive someone who has nothing to do with it. The wrong guy, the patsy. Do you think for a moment that Erika comes into contact with nobody? Let me ask you, for example, if you were a Kennedy, do you think that over the years the Kennedy family knew what was going on? Ted Kennedy knew. You know stuff you are so inside. Do you know how many people you come across? You become immersed in something. You talk to people from FBI, from SBI, from various investigators, your own internal TPUSA stuff. You are so hip. And somebody along the line says, Erika, what do you think about what's going on here? What do you think about what's going on? When you hear people say that he didn't do it, what do you think about that, Erika? What's your take? Do you think Erika says, wait a minute, why don't people think he did it? Well, Erika, do you know about the rifle? No. Erika, do you know about the grainy? You sat in the courtroom. You've never heard, you don't know anything about the countervailing argument against this? No. You don't? No. Do you think that's true? Unless she is more dumb. I don't think she's that dumb. I don't believe for a moment. So A, she says, of course I forgive him because he didn't do it. You know what? I forgive you. I didn't have anything to do with it either. Yeah, I know. It's easy to forgive somebody who had nothing to do with it. That's number one. Number two, if she is Christian, there's cowboys, bums, and Christians, mostly white and black and blue. They all dial their phone, collect to home from 16th Avenue. Anyway. The other part of it may say, Erika, shouldn't you stand up for this? I mean, Erika, if you think he didn't do it, you don't think you have a right to say something about this? And Erika probably says, look, if they think he did it, that's fine with me. I don't know, whatever. I don't care. So she might, possibility, I doubt this, but she might say, yes, I forgive him because I don't think he did anything. Number two, and this is the hardest thing, and I want you to answer me whether you believe this is possible or not. When I say this, I want you to press number one, if you believe it's true or possible, or if you agree with it, or press 2 for no, okay? Do you think, so if you think this is true, press 1. Do you think Erika couldn't care less who did what? This is just her role. And if the Erika Kirk show requires her to publicly, and we all knew what happened, to publicly say, I forgive, do you think she could be so crass, so shallow, so venal, so vile, so that she says, I don't give a shit. What looks good for the character? What would Erika, the character, do? Well, she would forgive. Count me in. So you forgive him? I don't give a shit one way or the other. Is it good for me to go to the preliminary hearing? Erika, this is a preliminary hearing. Why are you going there? Well, I'm technically a victim's advocate. I'm going to go one time for like an hour, maybe 2 days, and then that's it. I'm going to leave. Not for the whole day. I'm just going to show up and say, hey, I'm here. Hey, guys, I'm here. And not even with Charlie's parents. Remember that Sheridan who was trying to grab Charlie's old man? And he was... Do you think that Erika, frankly, is devoid? Not that she is a bad person. She is incapable of this. Not that she's a psychopath. But as close to the functional part of it. Do you think so? Do you think so? I don't think. Put it this way. If Erika stubbed her toe, cut herself, and was crying, I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe that, not necessarily that she's in pain, but I wouldn't believe that the degree of anger that or the degree of pain that she's saying is in any way commensurate with reality. I don't believe a word she says. Widow, not widow. If that makes me a bad person, I'm a bad person. I don't believe anything. I don't believe anything. It's bullshit. Let me tell you what else. I don't have any beef really with the president's kids, Don Jr. I don't get into his personal life, whatever. You're going to get married, God bless you, mazel tov, have a great life. But I want you to remember this. And if I said to you, Don Jr., I want you to put together a speech and take every falsehood, every over the, how do I say this? Every over the top, every misunderstood fact. And I want you to put them together for me. Everything there is. Could you do it? Could you do it? I mean, put down every false fact. If Don Jr. said, you know what, I'm going to work on it. And if he put this together, could he have done a better job compiling the bullshit regarding this case?
That's not vague. That's a confession note.
Okay, right off the bat, make a note of this. This is a confession. Tyler left a confession. He wrote underneath the laptop, the Discord files, everything, the letter that Lance burned, legitimate confessions. Okay, you got it? You got it?
Again, folks, the evidence here is overwhelming.
Overwhelming. Couldn't do a better job if you did like a drive-by, if you just kind of got a little bit of the facts, didn't really understand the nuance, the levels, the problems. Okay, so he confessed. It's overwhelming. Remember when Candace was saying overwhelming? It's overwhelming. Continue.
The DNA, the literal confessions, the identifications.
The DNA. The DNA. What DNA? It's his rifle. One would say it's his rifle. One would say Lance's DNA. Other people's DNA. Why is Lance's DNA on it? Why are other people's DNA on it? It's on a rag. Where is the rag from? If the rag is taken, stolen, purloined through manufacture, asportation, and larceny, of course there's going to be his DNA on it. One could argue it's Granddaddy's rifle. You probably have, ready for this, Granddaddy's DNA on the rifle. Okay, you got this? You got this?
The fact that his own parents, recognized him in the videos.
Do you know why? The story was, remember the story? It's unconfirmed. Somebody says, hey, I think that rifle, remember supposedly the story is, I think maybe that's the rifle or whatever. Now, if the defense lawyers are smart, they're going to say, whatever you do, please don't talk to anybody. But as I was explaining to Don Jr., Don, because that's his name, if I called him Eleanor, it will make no sense. If I said Don, the reason why they were interested was they said they're going to kill our boy. Some overzealous cop is going to do one of these, oops, our boy is going to wake up with all kinds of red dots on him, and he's going to be like the laser scoped by somebody with real 30-06, right, 6 pointed. So we want to secure his surrender, not, we'll get to this in a moment, not to confess, because Don, isn't it funny that he never confessed to the police? When was the last time you heard somebody who turned yourself in, but said, I'm not telling you I did it. I'm just turning myself in. Turning yourself in for what? I'm not going to tell you. Well, did you do it? I'd rather not say. See what I mean, Don? You got this?
The roommate and the romantic partner confirming he confessed.
Don, I don't even know where to start. Don, did you happen to see that video? Did you happen to see the day when they said, hey, roommate, lover, did Annie Oakley over here, did Carlos Hathcock, Mr. Sniper, did he ever talk political? No. Did he ever evince, explicate, or show any type of hatred? Did he ever execrate? Did he ever wax, angry regarding Charlie? No. Really? No. Never did. And by the way, Mr. Roommate, you've been granted immunity, have you not? Yeah. That's weird. Immunity from what? Did they tell you? You mean you might be facing criminal charges for what? Harboring a fugitive, obstruction of justice, destroying evidence? Huh? Did you get that done? I don't think so.
That he even wrote the note.
You think so, Don? You think so? He wrote the note? You sure about that? You sure about that? Have we done exemplars? Have we ever looked at this? Remember? Oh, you were just saying. Just saying. And by the way, wrote the note. The best line was from O'Neill, from Rob O'Neill. He said he writes his text messages like somebody with English as a second language. Did you know about that, Don?
You know, the fact that the roommate was clearly very sympathetic to the trans cause, something Charlie spoke about ad nauseum.
Did you? By the way, Don, did you see that? Did he look like he was trans? I think he changed. I don't know what he looked like. He looked like he was doing the role of the Indian in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He went from furry little love muffin to this one. Are you sure about that, Don? Are you sure about that?
Charlie spoke about ad nauseum. I know because I did many of those things with him alive.
Let me say this again. Now he's saying that he talks about Charlie, who perhaps, well, let me hear his words.
To the trans cause, something Charlie spoke about ad nauseum. I know because I did many of those things with him alive.
Mm-hmm. So Charlie was so open chaptered about it. This fellow said, I gotta get to the bottom of this. Charlie speaks very negatively towards my side. Is that it?
So for all the noise that some people want you to hear or believe, the facts are clear. And I just want you to all understand those facts.
And Don, why are you opining? You know, Don, when you show up and you have Secret Service protection, and I know there's no jury there, and I hope you're not thinking about showing up to that jury. You know, even one could argue, even preliminary hearings is sending a message to that judge. Don't let us down. You got a future in mind? You don't want to be in the Orem Provo court system for the rest of your life, do you? How about governor? How about an appellate court? Something nice and cushy, something with just retention. Something maybe the state Supreme Court. Who knows? Maybe a federal court. You do know that if you don't play your cards right, you're done. You're through. You're finished. And by the way, don't let my presence here, Donald Trump Jr., son of the president. And if my father gets on the Truth Social or says something, he could bury you. Just want to let you know this. Please don't let me get in the way. But just keep in mind who I am.
And to be able to separate fact from fiction.
My point exactly, sir.
And of course, guys, we'll continue following this story every step of the way.
We? Who's we? Who's we? We you? We the government? We your father? Who's we?
Ensuring that Charlie and his family and all of us get the justice we deserve.
And
guys,
what about Tyler's justice? I know, you know what I mean? I know that, but the Constitution speaks to his Sixth Amendment right to a speedy and public trial, his Fifth Amendment right to due process, his rights, his First Amendment rights. They don't speak to the victim. Now, granted, Utah has this unique take on this, and I recognize it. And then we have our favorite, the woman who just drives these people crazy because she won't go away and because she's so bloody right. That's why they're doing this widow business. This absolutely This is incredible. This I cannot say enough. This is the part which blows my mind. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you grasp what I am saying? This is the most important thing in the world. This is just critical. So in any event, the woman who makes all of this possible, I wonder if our friend Don Jr. knows about this.
Robinson, we can exclusively confirm to you all, drove 3 hours.
Now think about this. I tend to do this. Forgive me. But sometimes I like you to be able to say, wait a minute. Let me just again, we're looking at the pieces of the puzzle. That's a sky piece, isn't it? You look sky. Yeah, sky. Okay, go ahead. I'm seeing it now. He drove 3 hours. Why? He's a killer. He's an assassin. What is he, Luigi Mangione? Luigi Mangione wants to get out of Dodge. This guy, you think he'd go back? He'd hide. He's driving around. Hey, how are you? Credit cards and
away from Orem, Utah, down to Panguitch, Utah. I hope I'm saying that right. A lot of the cities sound weird. I think it's Panguitch, Utah. I'm sure.
Panguitch sounds like those. Remember those pangolins? Remember those weird birds or those weird eels or ducks or whatever the hell those things were that supposedly spread the Wu flu? Remember that in the wet bars and wet markets? In any event,
Showing you a map of that distance. It is just under 3 hours.
3 hours. Feels like a little steak dinner. Where can I go? Let's see. I know a nifty place in Panguitch where I'll get a sandwich.
To get there. And what was he doing there? You're probably wondering, did he meet up with somebody? No, he was alone. And what we can tell you that he did when he got there was that he pulled into the Cowboys Smokehouse.
Now, Candace, please, would you do me a favor? Don't give me these generalities. Would you please be as specific as you possibly can be? What did he have? Where did he sit? How did he pay? Please.
On North Main Street. He grabbed himself a seat at the bar at this steakhouse, and he ordered himself some more food. Specifically. Funny
how, I don't know about you, but some people can say, I can't eat. Why? I'm a murderer. I'm an assassin. Not him. No, gives him an appetite.
Tyler Robinson ordered a steak, medium rare, with mashed potatoes and vegetables. There were 3 servers that were working that night. And then after news exploded the following day and people began obsessively sharing, of course, the photo of the suspect, Tyler Robinson, having been captured after 33 hours, well, one of the servers recognized him as the person that was sitting at the bar the night before. So they decided to huddle up with management and said, no, that person, Tyler Robinson, he was here. He was eating a steak. He was eating mashed potatoes. Management said, are you sure? Are you positive that Tyler Robinson said, yes, I'm absolutely sure. Well, they don't have any cameras at this restaurant. So what they decided to do was to verify that he was in the building, not by, of course, consulting outdoor video footage, which they didn't have access to, but rather just looking through credit card charges. Because Tyler Robinson, despite telling his roommate how he wanted to get away with this, remember the messages and like, oh, here's what happened. I don't want anybody to know. Make sure you delete this letter that's under the keyboard, but take a picture of it before you delete it, but read it and then destroy it. He's trying to get away with this crime. Well, he used his credit card.
Yeah.
That's how they found it.
Isn't that something? Let that sink in. Do you think our friend knows about this?
That's not vague. That's a confession note.
I don't think so. That's not a I'm not trying to pick on him. Do you see what is happening here? Do you see? That's all. We're not going to spend a lot of time. That's all. I know many of you are still upset over the soccer game, whatever the hell happened there. My friends, this case does not amount. On September the 10th of last year, a hit team got hit team, hit unit. He was hit in a way that, according to Rob O'Neill, was an exit wound, and they talked about exploding something. It was not from a rifle from the roof. I don't know. DNA be damned. I'm not going to go through all of this. That's why everybody, Eric Metaxas. Did Eric say, oh, I'm not saying this. Hey, can I sign up for that? Who are you? My name is Eric Metaxas. Who? Eric Metaxas. I'm a big Christian guy. What can you do for us? Oh, say something about Erika. What's it worth? $250? I'll take it. Just saying. I'm not saying he was paid, but I would hope people would be. You know what I say? That's what I say. It's incredible. Then Viva, you're calling Prejean a hag? What's going on here? Barnes is out of his fucking mind. We're the only people here who said, whoa, wait a minute, cálmate, tranquilo, chico, cálmate. What's going on here? You know why? They're freaking out. It's over. They're rehashing the don't talk about the widow thing. That's tonight. The official end of Erika Kirk grieving widow criticism prohibition. The grieving widow card has been pulled. It's done. Blake the Snake, Culver, they don't know what to do. There's no more TPUSA. I guess in name only. Who's going to say, yeah, can I still give you my $1 million? Yeah, so you can fly around on your jet doing whatever the hell it is. Yes, I know you haven't mentioned anything that Charlie normally would be speaking of. So just understand something. Dear, great and glorious and beautiful friends, it's done. It's finished. I don't know where this is going. There's nothing left. And Erika's going to come out again because they don't know any better. Because there's nobody running the grift. There's nobody running the drill. And the people that are responsible for the dispatch don't even have the wherewithal or the authority or the power to say, hey, would you do me a favor and shut the fuck up and go home and sit down and lay low? Don't just let this die down. You won't let it die down because you're online every 5 minutes. And the last person in the world is you're going up to Candace Owens, and it's like you're going up to this grizzly bear or this polar bear, and you're fucking around with the bear. And the bear's looking and saying, do you know who I am? I'm a bear. I'm a polar bear. I will track you down. I can smell it. What are you doing? It's like Jack Reacher. Remember, you wanted this. Why are you going to Candace Owens? She will cut your balls off. She will hand them back to you. And in your case, Blake, she'll hand back your scrotum. I don't think there's anything in there. Your anacrus. It's unbelievable. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know. It's fascinating. It's the most fascinating story there is. It is absolutely fascinating. Oops. It is fascinating. And it's something which is so important. It's so critical. I mean, when Bill Maher is making sense, this is how bad it is. Blake Knapp, who would appoint this moonbat to anything? Who would do this? Why do you think? Who do you think is the most obsessed with Candace? And the grieving widow, Erika Kirk's, this is what I wrote today, 2 hours ago. The grieving widow, Erika Kirk's extraordinary reaction, a mere 6 days after the assassination of her husband, struck the intellectually available as incomprehensible and despicable. Manic giddiness. You would never have known her husband had just been slaughtered in front of the world. She laughed and maintained what came across as an incredible sales pitch. I half expected a Glengarry, Glen Ross moment with somebody barking coffees for closers. This is why so many of us went south right after her despicable mic'd casket performance episode. Remember that episode was the worst. Right after her despicable mic'd casket episode, many drew lasting conclusions. So don't give me this nonsense about the grieving widow bit prohibiting meaningful and cogent commentary. As we say in the South, that dog don't. It's just incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And Andrew Colvert, the anarchist. By the way, that's ballless, atheistic. The anarchist. Andrew Colvert faces an extraordinarily daunting position, and I theoretically sympathize with him. TPUSA, as everyone knew it, was inseparable from Charlie. He was the driving force, the identity, and the mission. Today, its pathetic public messaging is consumed with constantly attacking Candace Owens, rather than advancing the principles Charlie championed. Endless exchanges, retorts, and riposts accompany little and accomplish little. And organizations of bugyards, it's a great word, a liar is a bugyard. It can't thrive indefinitely when its leadership is preoccupied with defending itself instead of promoting a once compelling vision. What is the possible pitch to a potential donor? Give us your money, and we will continue the relentless fusillade against Candace. What's the point? What's the purpose? And what's worse is what Andy seems to be, I guess, the least incoherent voice of the atrophied organization. He's the least crazy, but that's not saying much. This is something, my friends, that I just it beggars a question or further inquiry. It is beyond. I am without an answer, but I thank you. Now, I know many of you are still crushed over the Argentina's loss or Spain's win. And frankly, it's all I know. I don't know. It's not my thing. But I was kind of pulling for old man Lionel Messi because, well, as you can imagine. My friends, I'm going to be leaving you now. I want to first thank you. Thank you not for what you are, but for what you appear to be. Thank you for your countenance. Thank you for your beauty. Thank you for your faith. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for your beauty. Thank you for your steadfastness. And thank you for not giving up. Thank you for not giving up and not giving any of these people. Please like this video. Please subscribe to our channel because sometimes, I don't know why, these things are not, well, sometimes they're lost. These subscriptions there are. And I thank you, dear friends. Thank you, thank you, thank you for everything. We'll be back tomorrow. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to us, hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. Please follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. Please. She's doing such a great and a glorious job. We're going to win this, my friends. We're going to win this. Tomorrow we'll catch up with what Candace is doing. Thank you for gracing me with your presence on a Sunday night. We'll see each other again tomorrow. Thank you immensely. And until then, remember these final words, this valedictory, this sayonara, this adios. The monkey's dead. This show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.